I have a surplus of these from the old war. As a caster type forge, it's useful for me, but for you it's far more important. So who's this? Hello and welcome to the Character Logs, a series of videos where I go over my own creations to simply let you know who is who. I take high pride in my characters and I really want to show them off. This time in the spotlight, Defenderforged. Defenderforged, or simply Defender, is a construct of old runic practices. The whole nature of how Defender came to be is unknown, but from what he mentions of his past and how he came around, he says this. I suppose it is similar to what we've witnessed with Omen, or rather the Omen Forged. I used to have a proper body, flesh and bones, but one day it was decided, to help others, this is what I would become. Defender and the Omen Forged have a similar upbringing. However, it's obvious by how Defender looks, his upbringing was a bit more rustic. His hands are made of combat runes, and his eyes of luminous gems, unlike the Omen Forged, who simply has their head ablaze with the perennial flame's power. The combat runes on his hands allow him to makeshift weapons out of pure spirit energy on a whim. He usually prefers a spear, and can conjure a wall or other defensive means, like a shield, to block arrows or other projectiles. He manages this with the luminous gems in his body, which they are scattered all over. Little is known about them, but Defender makes this comment. I am a caster type forge. Most of my prowess involves expertise with the spiritual energy we gather from the spirits in our beliefs. Luminous gems were one way to gain a brief connection with the spirits during a time of need. They're fragile, and as such, should most break across my body, my power would surge to protect myself and others. However, without a stable gem, I cannot properly move. Defender was stationed at the Sanctuary when he was first made, now known as the Sanctum. The intermediary, Kismet, issued this, where he was meant to protect those during the Old War. With their body made of combat runes, he can conjure weapons for soldiers protecting their land. After the war, Defender had disappeared from the Sanctum, even though lingering battles were still happening across the land. Could we perhaps have a reason why, Defender? You know that I can handle myself, Construct. Just humor me, Tahem. The Sanctuary has become stressful. I do not need to humor that which chooses to prolong their life. It is a selfish deed. It does not make it selfish if the greater purpose is met. I believe that would help others with this sacrifice. Such a naive soul. Is that why you look up to Shabora like you do? Shabora has guided my path, including this one. If I put doubt in the spirits, what will happen to them? You know as well as I do what's happening. That Kismet is swaying his faith. It's vague, but his practices have been lacking, I've noticed. His gaze to the flame has been longing. So please, Thyam, at least humor me with helping to keep this place protected. It does help, I must confess. The flame must burn as brightly as it can. And I will allow you to do just that, Thyam. This war is troubling. Sanctuary is safe. For the time being, I made as many weapons with the runesmith as I could, and the attacks have been waning ever since the last general fell. I've seen those soldiers go by at times, often some without the vigor crest. That, I do not know what Kismet was thinking, but we should— What else is there to do, Construct? I tend to the flames and ward off creatures that enter. This is a shrine. You know well that there is little to do here until the flame hungers again. Right. Defender was then stationed at the Coastal Trenches Shrine, a place where the mountains and the sea collide with one another, providing a lovely growth of fauna. This is where he would be until one fateful day, Taihem disappeared from the shrine with no trace. Defender did his due diligence to keep the flame at the shrine burning. A vigorous attempt, as he managed to keep it alive for a week. Being a construct, he has no need for food or water, so he could focus his energy to keeping the crackling sparks alight. Defender, what happened to Taihem? Did she come back? I do not remember how long it had been before I saw her again, but when I did, that's when the world turned black for me, until the Omenforged relit the flame. I awoke, covered in vines and sticks, a log over me. Someone even put a statue of Kismet in the ruined shrine, to which I knew it wasn't safe. I hid for the time being, unsure as to why when I saw Taihem again, that I fell unconscious. Normally, I would just cease movements until a proper luminous gem was placed. This was different. It was like a log had struck my head through a tornado. A sharp wind when she came around was unlike any I've heard. And that brings us to now, and what you've probably seen in the Spiritfall video. If you haven't, and you want to see Defender's debut, the link to the video will be in the description and on the card right now. Defenderforged is an ancient construct that is lucky to still be functioning. With a broken eye and running on fumes with a limited supply of luminous gems, it's up to the Omenforged to scour up resources to help Defender safely return back to the Sanctum and assist the journey to the brink. With Defender at the Sanctum, the runesmith and his son can make new weapons and perhaps build Defender back up to speed with the extra resources the Omenforged has gathered. But what about Taihem? Or even Defender's knowledge of Kismet before he was turned to stone? Such details will have to be asked personally, which you can do in the comments below, or on the Gentle Giants Discord. I'm always there and able to help those wanting to get into the game. So write down any questions that you might have for Defenderforged in the comments below, and he can answer them personally. And because we're ending the video, how about another choice for you? I have two characters here that I can talk about. One from the Sonic franchise, and the other from the Kirby franchise. Now, I do have my own original characters, including this one for the Sonic series, but I always remember their roots and where they began. Even if they evolve past their series, they'll still remain in my heart for how they got started. Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful day and a lovely night. Until we meet again.